Yeah, Anthony Joshua has it all to do to try to get back to the top. So, following failure to beat Alexander Usyk, Joshua has it all to work for to get back to the top, and it could be easy but not so easy. Now, a little bit about the rematch with Usyk. I think Joshua actually did everything he needed to do to win the rematch, but his team probably let him down in several different ways. What I mean by this is that I think his promoter could have actually done better. His team could have done better to help him win. Joshua, we all know Joshua hired a new trainer in the form of Robert Garcia, who obviously helped him improve, but the improvement from Robert Garcia wasn't never going to be enough to help him beat a guy like Usyk convincingly. I actually won't be able to elucidate more on that due to the rules on this platform, but several other factors influenced the judging of the outcome of the rematch with Usyk, Joshua's rematch with Usyk. And with time, we might create a Patreon platform if the interest in this channel grows and if people would want to hear or try to understand alternate opinions and the different factors that can actually influence an outcome. So following Joshua's loss to Usyk, Joshua now has it all to do. So Joshua basically has to start from rock bottom. Joshua will be frozen out by every other champion because he's a dangerous fighter. So that includes whoever is the WBC champion or whoever is the champ. Usyk already stated that he's not willing to fight any other person other than whoever the WBC champion is, and right now that is still Tyson Fury. So Usyk is willing to take on the challenge to fight a Tyson Fury. It's difficult the work Usyk actually puts in trying to win this rematch against Joshua. Joshua actually put in a lot of work as well. So did Usyk as well. And putting this kind of hard work and then just fighting mere bombs is basically not worth it. So Usyk wants to test himself at the highest level, or having been undisputed at a lower weight class. So he was undisputed in the cruiserweight division, and now he's the unified champion in the heavyweight division, and he just needs one more belt, the WBC belt, to unify. After that, Usyk is 35 years old. I think Usyk is going to call it a night. Maybe he does one defense of his titles, but he's going to retire. He's had a very long amateur career and a very short professional career. And in that short time, he's been able to be undisputed at cruiserweight and very close to be undisputed at heavyweight. And if he's able to achieve that, then he has nothing else to achieve. He's also an Olympic champion, and this can actually make him go down as arguably the best boxer of all time. Now going back to Joshua. Joshua now has limited options, and due to the danger that Joshua brings to his fights, with him going for the knockout most times, he had always been avoided, and he will still be avoided by most fighters. And even more now that he isn't a champion and doesn't have any belts with him, he will be way more avoided than he was before. Now thinking of Joshua's possible next fight, Otto Wallin, who arguably gave Tyson Fury his most toughest fight recently, I've actually called out Anthony Joshua in the aftermath of his loss to Alexander Usyk. So another fight that is a possibility for Joshua, I think, is a fight against Zhilei Zhang, he actually fought against Filip Hrgović just before the Joshua Usyk fight. So he lost against Filip Hrgović in a controversial decision. I think Zhang won that fight, and most people as well think that Zhang won that fight. Zhang himself also thinks he won that fight. So it's gonna be these two fights will actually be easy to make, and Joshua can get in there with either Otto Wallin or Zhilei Zhang, and the fight will be easy to make as they have no bonding contracts with any difficult promoters. Zhang is actually working with Joshua's same promoter, and that will be a lot easier fight to make. And it will also be an easier fight for Joshua, taking in the fact that they are both southpaws, and Joshua has been training to fight southpaws for closer to 2 years now, having fought Usyk twice within that duration. So I think they are both good fights for Joshua, and they could actually be easier fights for Joshua as well, and there could be the possibility of Joshua getting the knockout. And if Joshua does get the knockout in any of these fights, then he should be right back there in the mix and be able to call out either Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk for another fight. Joshua is an entertaining fighter, and what people like is an entertaining fighter. So as long as people are entertained, they will want to tune into it and watch. So Joshua just needs to get the knockout in his next fight. Usyk is a very difficult fighter. It's difficult to knock out a guy like Usyk, not when he is well prepared. It's going to be very difficult to actually knock out a guy like Usyk. But a guy like Zhilei Zhang or an Otto Wallin, I think Joshua could actually have a good time in there in the ring with them and actually get the knockout against them. And this will take him right there back in the mix, and his career should get right back where he wants it to be.